Welcome to the home of British motorsport. We're here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. I am your host, Roderick, and welcome to round 9 of the season, already almost at the halfway point of the season. So first of all, let's go over the race rating and driver of the day. The race rating was given a 6.3 out of 10, and the driver of the day was given to Roland Moitian, who finished in 5th place, just pipping Robert Ionescu at the line. And some news for this race is the teams are now beginning to consider their lineups for the 2013 season, and the big news is that Will Kneller will replace Evan Byrne for currently this round, the British Grand Prix, with future races not yet confirmed. But Evan Byrne, who's taking time off for, let's say, personal issues or personal reasons, I think we should say. So let's hope that he does return in the future. So the lap record was actually set by Evan Byrne last year, but obviously this is the first time using the new pit lane at this track, so it should be very interesting to see how this goes. But let's hope, as I said, Evan Byrne returns, but at least we do have Will Kneller back in the series. So Viggo Holst taking another pole position with Nicholas Gall 2nd, Wayne Cooper 3rd, George Rowe 4th, Alex Southgate 5th, Volker in 6th, Joseph Willows in 7th, with Felix Sonntag 8th, a better qualifying from both Mercedes this time round. 9th place is Robert Ionescu, 10th place is Will Kneller. Not the best qualifying that he'll have ever had, but I suppose it is his first time in the car for over a year. 11th place, Jamie Mackenzie, followed by Kirosama De Rosa. 12th for Force India. 13th place is Rivki Parkinson. 14th place is Sam Thompson for Toro Rosso. And we move on to the 8th row of the grid is Adam Wolff and Oliver Glazebrook. Oliver Glazebrook, who has shown some pretty impressive pace this season, I do have to say. 17th place is Roland Moitian, followed by Amar Kar in 18th place. And we go further down the order. 19th place is Roman Quagg. 20th place on the 11th row of the grid is Franco Gamba. Not a good qualifying for Franco Gamba. And on the last row of the grid, it is the two virgins of Sean Grant and Zachary Fitzwater. So that is the grid for the race. So the big question is, will this race be a wet one? Is the big question, and the answer is no, it will not. In fact, it will not be a wet race for the first time in ages. I'm surprised really, because last year's race was wet most of the way through, so it will be a full dry race. This should be very interesting to see how this goes. So I am certainly very much looking forward to it. So we are now about to head onto the grid for the British Grand Prix, and we're now on the grid. Holst in P1, Nicholas Gall P2, we have Cooper P3, Roke P4. Who is going to get the jump? Coming into turn 1, the 5 lights are about to come on. We now have 5 lights that are on, and we're underway for the British Grand Prix, and it looks like Holst has got a good start, and he's going to take the lead as they head into Abbey for the first time, now towards Farmers. Now Cooper has actually got past Gall into 2nd place, and Holst currently keeps the lead as Cooper's in 2nd. 3rd is Gall. 4th, I believe, is Southgate, who's got ahead of Roke. And as they come through Aintree, as they now come onto the Wellington Straight for the first time, it looks like so far everyone has actually avoided contact. I haven't seen any cars with damage or any yellow flags out yet, so well done to everyone so far. It's actually a very clean start once Southgate defends on Roke, and Ionescu is trying to attack Volker as they come into Brooklands and now through Lovefield. As they now come through Woodcote, there's Franco Gamba, who's dropped to the back, so he's not made a good start. Holst still in the lead. Cooper is right behind him though, and he's going to try and make a move as they come into Copse for the first time, and Cooper's going to make the move, and he does make it stick. He's into P1, Holst down to P2 as they now head into Maggots and Beckett's. And now Holst is right behind as he comes through the first part of Maggots, and now he comes through Beckett's, very fast part of the track, probably one of the best parts on the F1 calendar. As he now comes through, he's now got the slipstream of Cooper, so he's now going to try and attack him back, coming down the back straight, and now he's going to make a move on Cooper as they come into Stowe. And does he make it stick? No, not quite. He doesn't quite make it stick as Gall is coming through in P3 as Southgate still defending from Roke, just about. But Gall is now catching up to these two, as now Southgate and Roke are holding each other up, it seems, with Willows just behind. Ionescu's moved up to 7th. He's made a good start. He's got past Volker actually. Now he's dropped down to 11th. Sonntag, who's dropped a couple of places down to 10th. Look through the rest of the field. Everyone so far avoided contact. Gamba down, unfortunately, down at the back. As you look at Gall in P3, is now trying to catch up, but Roke is now right behind Southgate as they come into the first section of the track. As they now come through about to come onto the Wellington Straight, and there's a couple of cars off, and that is Volker, who's once again gone off. I don't know how the I mean, I don't know how he's having such bad luck. He's having a lot of bad luck at the moment. And Mackenzie doing reversing back onto the track in very interesting way, to say the least. But what has happened here? So this happened coming into Brooklands. And so Mackenzie, who was on the inside, he was making a move, and I mean, I don't really know if you could blame anyone for that. I think maybe Volker could have left him a bit more room there, I think. But unfortunately for both, they are going to have to... Well, Volker's got away, I think, without any damage. Mackenzie, unfortunately, hasn't. He's knocked his front wing, so he's going to have to go into the pits. So Volker, who's still in the race, but he's going to be right at the back. He's just not had any luck. He's retired from the last 3 races on the trot. And he's now going to be right at the back, and now he's going to have to make a long recovery if he wants to get any points from this race. He's still got 50 laps to do so. But Volker spins around there as he comes into Brooklands. So he'll have to make a very, very long recovery, to say the least. Mackenzie, unfortunately, will have to go into the pit, so his race is pretty much ruined as he comes now through Lovefield. As we look at Gal, who's running in 3rd, and there's Southgate in 4th. Roke is now right behind him, and Roke is now going to attack him, coming into Stowe, and does he make the move stick? And yes, he does. Does he just about? Ionescu is now going to try to sneak through, and he does. He makes it up into 5th place, so he sneaks through past Southgate as well. Good move there by the Romanian driver. So Roke's now up to 4th, Ionescu up to 5th, Southgate down to 6th in just a couple of corners, as Kuba sets the fastest lap at 1:31.0. As they now come through, as now Sam Thompson is battling with Will Neller in 9th place. Will Neller seemingly struggling for pace at the moment in the McLaren. It is his first race back, but he just doesn't seemingly have a lot of pace in that car. But I suppose has been out the season for he has been out for 2 years. So well, actually no, 1 year actually, I think. I should say, because he retired obviously at the end of 2010. Now we are looking at Robbie Ionescu. He's gone a bit wide, and as he comes back on the track, he spins right in front of everyone else. Oh my, and somehow everyone has avoided him, and unfortunately that is literally the worst place he could possibly be in right there. Right on the exit there as some of the cars move through, and oh dear, he's been hit by Oliver Glazebrook. I'm surprised more cars managed to avoid him, but Robbie Ionescu is now going to be stone dead last, and he was running so well. Unfortunately, it's just been a horrendous season so far for Ionescu. It just hasn't gone his way. He was fairly close behind Roke in front of him, but as you can see, coming into Copse just went way too wide, and then just unfortunately lost it coming on the curbs, and just somehow, oh my goodness, I don't know how Southgate and Willows managed to avoid him there, and my god, the Toro Rosso, I think that was of Sam Thompson, I believe, somehow didn't hit him, and unfortunately for Glazebrook, the Williams just moved out of the way, and unfortunately Glazebrook just couldn't avoid it in time, and he hits Ionescu, and that is then going to have to pit, so Ionescu will have to do something to get out, we'll have to go back and try and get something out of this race. Now here we are having a battle. This is Alan Wolf attacking Joseph Willows, interestingly enough, for the last point spot. And now is he going to make the move stick? It's just about side by side with Will Neller just behind as well. And he has got past him. What a move by Alan Wolf. He gets past the Ferrari. Struggling this weekend. It seems Willows at least is struggling this weekend because, well, I mean, Cooper isn't, because he's battling up front. So as now Will Neller is going to try and make a move coming into Copse, and is he going to make it stick? Willows goes a little bit wide, but that's affected Neller's speed out of that there, and he's going to lose a position. He's going to lose it back, and no, now he is going to lose a position to Marcar, who sneaks through there, does what Ionescu did down at Stowe, and now he's going to have to make the move once again, as now Wade Cooper's in the pits for his first stop of the race on lap 12, 22 laps of fuel, so it looks like probably a 3 stop, or maybe a 2. I think probably maybe a 2, because actually it's only 52 laps, so I reckon it's probably going to be a 1 or a 2 stop here. So I'll have to see how that goes, but let's have a look at what happened with Marcar and Joseph Willows battling each other as they came through the right-hander there, and unfortunately they've both got a bad run. They're coming out of Copse, and now his car just snuck through just before they got to Maggots and Beckett's for the first time, and Carr's now right behind, but Neller will want to get back past immediately as Kuba now comes out in P4. Now here is Carr, who is right behind Willows, with Neller having dropped back a little bit, but now he's got Rivki Hartgrenstein also close behind him. But now Carr's going to try and make a move coming down the Wellington Straight into Brooklands for the first time, and he's going to make it stick, and he does. It's a good move there by Carr. Willows seemingly struggling for pace, although he does have 18 laps of fuel, so he's going on the long run, it seems. As now Neller is just behind us, looking to make a move, and now will Willows try and get back at Carr coming into Copse, and he is going to try and make a move back on Carr. Is he going to make it stick though? Not quite. Carr closes the door on him. Now Nella has a chance to catch up, and so does Ricky Harkazane behind. And now here it is, and now Nella has caught up to Willows with Harkazane, and I believe that is Sam Thompson. I think was that Toro Rosso behind, and yes, it was. So Sam Thompson's caught behind as well. As car now comes into the pits. Roker's also come into the pits as well. And so here's, and all there was contact there, and Nella's been hit, and he's gone wide, and I believe Thompson's gone round, and yes, he has. And the Lotus, the Caterham comes through, and he's hit him, and Roman Quagg is out of this race. That was a very unfortunate incident there. Quagg was an innocent bystander in that, but he is now out of the race. How unfortunate that is for the French driver. And that is one Caterham gone out of this race. I've actually remembered their name right as well for once. But he is out of this race. That was an unfortunate collision. You could tell on board with Nella, he got a hit from behind. So I believe that was from Thompson, was it? Or was it from... no, it wasn't. I think that it was actually from Ricky Harkazane, who actually made contact with Thompson and forced him to go around as well. So there was the contact with Will Nella, and then Harkazane just couldn't control the car. Then he went into Thompson as well and spun him around. Nella managed to only lose one position to Harkazane. I managed to rejoin there, but unfortunately for Quagg, just couldn't quite steer out of the way in time. And unfortunately for Thompson, he's now going to have to go the whole way round before pitting again. And for Quagg, he probably didn't expect, because I don't think he did move, but he tried to steer as much as he could, and he thought he made it round, but just caught the end of his car. And that is Roman Quagg's day done. How unfortunate that is for the French drivers. Now we look at Felix Sontag, who's right behind Kirosima de Rossa as they come through Maggots and Beckett's on to the hangar straight. As he's now right behind de Rossa, and he's going to make a move coming into Stowe. He's got the slipstream, and he's now going to come alongside de Rossa, who defends him. And will Sontag still make it around the inside? He does, and oh my god! And there's been a huge crash here. De Rossa's car is completely destroyed. Oh my word! And wow, that is one of the biggest crashes I've ever seen. And de Rossa's car is completely destroyed. The back of it is, well, there is no car. It's just it's just body parts mangled together. But oh my word, that was an incredibly scary crash. So let's have a look at that again from de Rossa's point of view. And that happened last year, the 2011 race. A similar incident. Volker actually was involved in a similar incident. There was another car, which unfortunately I can't remember the name of, but oh my lord, that was scary as anything, and flipped right into the tyre barrier as well. Let's hope that de Rossa is okay from what was an incredibly scary accident. I believe actually Sontag got away without damage as well. But let's have a look as we look in slow motion. Unfortunately, you could just tell that was going to happen. They just got a little bit too close together. And wow, look at the car just absolutely dig into the floor and then land on its front before hitting the tyre wall, which is what then completely took away the back end of the car. And unfortunately for de Rossa, he's out of the race. Sontag, I believe, and yes, Sontag did get away with damage there, so he's still going to be in this race, but unfortunately it's not going to help him if he wants to get any points. But that was a scary accident there, to say the least. And you can see, oh my god, and the car almost, how close was that? Look at that. So just wait and look in slow motion. Look how close de Rossa's car comes. Oh, I don't know how he's managed to avoid that. I mean, that is insanely lucky that Sontag wasn't hit there. But he's still in this race. But oh my, that is one of the biggest crashes I think I've ever seen in this series so far. But that is de Rossa out, and that is the second retirement of the race as Sam Thompson now in the pits. And now, speaking of cars in the pits, Viggo Holst, who is actually nearly out of fuel, comes in for his first stop of the race. Holst, who has already taken, well, with the Silverstone, has now taken 3 pole positions this season, but is yet to take a win. And if he does win, it will be his first win in the OC. Holst, who took the very first pole position at Australia and then took another pole at Valencia, the European Grand Prix. And so far this season, the interesting stat has no one has actually won from pole position so far this season. So, but as they say, records are there to be broken. As Volker's now recovering from that incident he had with Mackenzie earlier on, he now makes a move for P12. As now Grant and Sontag are battling for P13. There's several cars involved in this. As now Mackenzie makes his way through and gets past into P14, Grant down to P15. And now we look at Volker, who's trying to overtake Roland Moitin coming down the Wellington straight. And he makes it into P12 with Mackenzie now right behind. He's looking to recover after that incident with Volker, looking for, I suppose, maybe a bit of revenge, trying to pass him and avenge the fact that he, well, essentially ruined his race. But he's recovered very well. But Mackenzie's right behind Moitens there, coming into Copse. Will he try and make a move here? The answer is no, because he's definitely not close enough, as now Grant and Fitzwater, the two virgins, are close to each other once again, and they need to stay away if they want to avoid a collision, as now the two Toro Rossos, Gamma and Thompson, are battling for P17 and 18 to come through Maggots and Beckett's, and then they'll come out of the last part of it, which is Chapel, as he now comes out of it, and now Thompson's going to be right behind Gamma, coming onto the straight, and I imagine Mackenzie's going to be right behind Moitin, overtaking him. As we can see just about in the distance. Is there a car alongside? I think there is nearly, but I'm not sure if there's been any moves made. But Thompson does make his move on Gamba for P18. As now Ionescu gets past Gamba, who's run a little bit wide, and he's going to make it stick, is he? And he's round the outside, and yes, he does. So he moves up into P18. Has he made it stick now? Yes, he has. A bit slow there, but he's managed to actually make the move, and now Ionescu is going to have to recover as much as possible. As now, I believe that is Thompson trying to get past the Virgin there, as Gamba's trying to get back past Ionescu, but he can't quite do it. As now George Rogue is in the pits for his first stop, so he will be doing one more stop before the end of this race. The 2-stop is definitely the way to go here, for sure. And as he comes out, through the first corner through Abbey. Where is he going to come out? He's going to come out in, looks like it's going to be P4, as now Rifki Hartgreen for Sauber comes in for a pit stop. He was nearly out of fuel as well. And where will he come out onto the track? Will he go to the end, is the interesting thing? And yes, he will go to the end. He's 29 laps, so he will for sure go to the end of this race. So we'll see how that goes, as there's a yellow flag out. And where is that? Is that at the pit entry? And yes, it is. And Florian Volker's out, and so is Mackenzie. And oh, Volker is now retired for the 4th race in a row. It's just not going well for Volker so far this season, and something has happened majorly coming into the final corner, coming into Vale and slash Club, or mainly Vale, where the corner is. So what has happened there? We need to have a look at what happened once again. So we're going to have to reverse back, as now Gallant's actually closing on Kuba in front. So what happened with Mackenzie and Volker is the interesting thing. So it was side by side they were battling, and Volker just, I don't know what Volker was doing. I mean, so he was trying to go into the pits there. Volker was actually needing to go into the pits, but for some reason just didn't look. Excuse me, didn't look where he was going, and just went into the side of Mackenzie there. A pretty silly error at that. Oh dear me, that was a pretty big clash, but that was definitely, I think, Volker's fault there. Just didn't seem to have a clue that Mackenzie was there. He thought he was ahead of him before going into the pits, but that was absolutely not the case. So have a look at that again. He just didn't see it. Oh my goodness me. That is a big crash, and then Mackenzie crashes back into Volker's car once again, and just before the pit entry as well. But Mackenzie can't steer the car, so there's pretty much no way he would be able to get into the pits, and that is those two now out of the race. So for Volker, that is a 4th retirement in a row, and Zachary Fitzwater is now out of this race. And what has happened here? Has he had a problem, or has he had a collision? What has happened now? As so this was actually happened, I think, just after the incident. As he comes in the right, oh, it's a suspension failure that caused him to retire. So it's another technical failure for Fitzwater, and he retires from the race. And is he just coming through Abbey just before Farm? That is him done for the day. And so that is one of the Virgins out of this race, and he retires. He pulls off, coming through Abbey there. As there's George Roke running at the moment in quite a lonely P5. Now here's Armar who's attacking Joseph Willows, coming into Stowe, and is he going to make the move stick? It's just about side by side, and he can't quite make it stick. Willows is just about going to hold it, and his car going to try and do a dummy and make a move. No, he doesn't. As now Will Neller, I should say, is right behind, with Adam Wolf behind him as well. As this could be quite a fascinating battle for 6th place here. As now Willows does make his stop, and he will go to the end of this race. And let's see where he comes out on track. He comes out in P10, so he comes out behind Rifki Hartgreen. There's Ionescu. He's just going to come out ahead of Ionescu. Now Miklos Gal comes in and makes his. Will this be his final pit stop, or will they have to make one more pit stop before the end? Will he go to the end? And the answer is no, he doesn't. So he does not go to the end of the race. So I don't know if that's necessarily the right strategy from Red Bull, but we'll have to see how that works. But I mean, I think the 2-stop would be the best. I mean, the 2-stop I think would be the best way. Also, although some people have decided to go for the 1-stop, so we'll be interested to see how this occurs come the end of the race. As he comes out in P3, in a comfortable P3, so he should have the whole track to a lot of free track to make his advantage count, as now Kuba comes in and he will go to the end of this race. So it'll be interesting to see what the pace of Gal is going to be like once he makes his final pit stop, because I imagine Kuba will have a pretty significant lead, but we'll have to wait and see. But Kuba will be going to the end as Gal does get out in front, and Holst, who will have to make another pit stop, I believe, before the end as well. As now here we are looking at, I believe this is Sam Thompson trying to get past Sean Grant in the Virgin, and he's going to make the move stick coming around the right-hander. And is he going to make it stick? As now Glazebrook's trying to push through as well, and now the Toro Rosso backs off coming through, and Thompson unfortunately can't make it stick, but now he's got Glazebrook for company as well, as he now come through Magnus Beckett and through Chappell on to the hanger straight, and now Glazebrook's going to try and make a move on Thompson, but Thompson's got the slipstream of Grant in front of him, so he's going to try and make a move for P14, and is he going to make it stick? And yes, he does, and he makes it past Grant, and now will Glazebrook try and make a move in? He's gone a little bit wide there, Grant. Will Glazebrook try and go around the outside? No, he doesn't. As now here we are looking, and I believe this is Will Neller for McLaren, who's right behind Robert Inescu. Will Neller, who is actually going to be going to the end of this race with 20 laps of fuel. Inescu just comes across him there a little bit. So they come through Maggots and Beckett, and now through Chappell. But now Will Neller surely with the McLaren is going to make a move coming down the back straight, coming through the hanger straight. He's going into 6th gear, and now he'll be going into 7th gear. And he's got a lot of slipstream. Surely he's going to make the move stick on Ionescu, and he does indeed make it. And he's now up into P10, but Will Neller will be going to the end. So it could actually work for him, because he could get a few points out of this race, as he now comes through the final section of corners. And now here is, I believe this is the battle for the lead at the moment between Mikola Scout and Viggo Holst. But these two, I believe, will have to pit before the end. So if they want to try and have a chance of winning this race, they need to stop battling, because Kuba is closing on them. There's rope all the way down to P4, so there's no danger of him catching these guys up at all. So it's mainly going to be a battle between these three for the victory, as they now come through Brooklands, and through the right-hander coming on to the straight, coming onto the old pit straight, I should say, coming through Luffield and then Woodcote, and now as they head towards Copse, the fast right-hander before Mengetz and Beckett, and Gallo's right behind. He's clearly got the pace. He's not going to be able to make the move stick here. Comes through the right-hander so fast there, and he's going to be right behind. Is he going to try and make a move before Mengetz and Beckett? And the answer is no, not quite. And now Gallo's surely going to try and make a move on the back straight, and he's now right behind him, and he's surely going to make a move. He's got the slipstream, but is he going to be close enough? He's right behind him though. Is he going to try and make it? He's going to try and go for maybe the outside and maybe move to the inside, but it's not going to work out. But he's going to be right behind. Is he going to try and make it coming into Vale? And he's going to try and go around the outside, is he? And is he going to try and do it around the outside? It's very close, but nearly contact. But he can't quite do it coming through Club. And Holst currently keeps the lead for the moment, as they've now got Felix Sontag to lap in front. And the battle's still going on. Holst has still managed to hold it. Now Kuba is not too far behind, as we've now only got 13 laps to go. And now Gal is going to make a move coming down the straight as they come into Brooklands, and he now has made the move stick into P1, as he now comes through the right hand and coming through onto the old pit straight. And now Cooper's already caught up to these guys, so I don't know if this is particularly worked out well for these two. It may work well for Cooper, but anyway, Holst now comes in for a pit stop. So let's see how quick this will be, and how far behind he will be behind Cooper. It's a 6.5, so it's not exactly fast. So we'll see how that occurs to him before the end. So he's got 12 laps to close up to Cooper. I don't know if that was going to happen or not, but we shall see. Cooper has been on those tyres for quite a while, so they could possibly wear before the end. Holst comes out in P3. Omar Khan now comes out of his pits. Is a 5-second stop exactly, so that's pretty quick from the Force India crew. He's going to come out, it looks like, in P11. And now Nicolas Gal comes in for his stop, so Kuba is now going to take the lead of the Grand Prix. Has he got it in the bag? Don't know. But, and Ionescu has crashed into the pit lane. Oh, and what has happened here? Ionescu has crashed into the pit lane. He's got no front right wheel, and he's coming into the pits, although he's got no speed there. And, and then now George Rote is going to be behind him. He's going to hold him up, and he can't get past him. And oh dear me, this is going to affect George Rote really, really badly. So, and he's now trying to bump Ionescu to try and get his car going. But he's got a while to go, it seems, before he gets to his pit box. Oh, dear me. So something has happened to Ionescu. I don't know what, but he's clearly holding up George Roque here. And this is going to badly affect his race as he's about to come into his pit stall. And that is surely going to deny him P4, or maybe even more. Unless he can get to his pit box, which I believe is actually just right there. Right in front of him. He's so close, he just can't quite reach it yet. He's now steering to the left, and he's now going to try and get past. And he now finally comes into his pit box, but he's already lost 5th to Southgate, and I think he's going to lose even more places by the time he comes out. And let's see. And comes out, and now Ionescu's car has gone in front of him, and he's now just going to go right into his path as well. Oh, and he hits Ionescu's car, and now he's... Oh, another Williams has come through and hit the car as well, and it's just completely blocking the pits here. Oh, dear me, and this is Alan Wolf, who's been involved in this. Ionescu's car is currently stuck, and it's currently blocking the pit entry, and now both Roque and Wolf are desperately trying to push his car out of the way, and now Felix Sonntag has retired with a spectacular engine failure. This is quite an end of the race that we're having at the moment. And Roque, who's still currently stuck behind Ionescu's car, and is he going to finally get past? And oh, he just can't quite do it. He's so close. And now he gets past. But for George Roque, what was going to be a good result is now going to probably turn into absolutely nothing. So, but we need to see how Ionescu had first of all ended up into this state, as now finally a master comes and pushes his car away. But we need to see how this has happened, because I mean, I'd love to know how this happened, because I don't know how Ionescu's got into this state. So let's have a look and see, shall we? So there was Sonntag, who retired obviously late on, and oh, he went off the track. So so he was running in P12. So he had an engine problem. So he had an engine problem just past the pits as well, pretty much at the exact wrong time. So just as he was coming round, and there was the engine problem, and it was actually terminal. So he didn't go into the pits. So obviously it was terminal for him too. And oh, he was hit from behind, and oh, it was from Ionescu. It was from Robert Ionescu, the one who hit him from behind. So that is why Ionescu went into the pits. So Sonntag, I mean, Ionescu is running in P13, and I don't think he expected Sonntag to go through so slowly there. And Ionescu tried to go in the pits and just hit the wall there, and that is what put him out of the race. So, but that now explains it all. So, and Sonntag somehow still managed to go around nearly a fair bit of the track without retiring. He went down the back straight, and there was the car. It was on fire, coming down the back straight, and he still kept going despite that. So then obviously there was Roque, and obviously we saw what happened there. That was some ending. That was quite, well, I mean, that was quite amusing. I imagine it probably wasn't for Roque, but it's quite amusing for people watching this. But it's not what Roque wanted. He was set to take probably a comfortable P4, and now he's going to, as I said, get absolutely nothing out of it. Unfortunately, it's just his car just rolled, and unfortunately, conveniently, just stopped in front of him, and then he hit the car, and then Alan Wolf came through, and then he hit Ionescu's car as well, and so he got stuck behind. But oh my goodness me, that was quite dramatic to say the least. And then Roque eventually got past Ionescu's car, but the damage has been done. Nearly 2 minutes he's got stuck in the pits there. Sonntag's car gets pushed away, so he's out of the race. His miserable season continues. Not been a great season for him compared to his teammate Southgate. So he retires from this race. So we've got 9 laps to go. And now here we are looking, and it looks like the battle for the lead is there's Southgate in 4th. Will Neller's actually now, as Will Neller has actually managed to get up into 5th place after all this. So he's actually managed to get a top 5. So that's pretty good for Neller. And oh, Farquharson goes wide, coming round into Stowe, and he's just given the place there to Joseph Willows for P6. And let's have a look at what happened again. So Farquharson's had himself a good race, but under pressure there from Joseph Willows, unfortunately, just felt the pressure, just went a bit wide there, and unlike his teammate Ionescu, did a very good job of saving that indeed, because it could have been so much worse. Managed to save it very, very well indeed. Because just went a little bit wide, went off, unfortunately, online onto the marbles. That was enough to set the car off, and he did very well. He was so close to spinning it, and he did very well to control it there. So fair play to him. So he's he's dropped down to P7, but I don't know where P8 is, but it looks like it's gonna be a points finish at the moment for Roque Farquharson, as now there's Amar Kar, who's running in 8th place at the moment. And now here is Armor Car is now challenging Joseph Willis, who's really struggled for pace this weekend, and now Car is right behind him. He's going to try and go around the outside of Willis, and yes he does. What a move by Armor Car, and he moves it up into 6th place. And with 5 laps to go, Willis is down 2 P7. Not the race that he would have wanted at all in front of his home fans. It's now Waze Cooper at the moment still in the lead of this race. As where is actually Gal and Holst, and Holst is just coming through the last couple of corners, so he's not that far away, but will he actually be able to catch up to Cooper before the end will be interesting to see. But we're going to have another look at the move that Armor Car pulled on Joseph Willis here, because it was some move. So let's have a look at it again. So as he was coming round, he right now just goes right round the outside of him. What a move that was, and he moves up into 6th place. So Willis got kind of pretty much done there. That's pretty much the only way of basically putting it. As we now look at Viggo Holst, and is that Cooper in front? And yes, it is Cooper in front, and they have caught up to Cooper rapidly here. So obviously Cooper's strategy, his tyres have definitely gone off the cliff, and now Holst and Gal are right behind, and this is going to be a battle for the win here. And now Cooper comes around with Gal right behind him, a 3-way battle for the victory here. And now as they come around, Cooper defends from Holst. Holst can't quite make it stick as they come through Beggars, and Gal's engine's gone. And Gal's engine is gone. And Gal is going to be out of the race. And he was battling for the win. And there goes his engine. The Renault engine, like in real life, lets him down. And now Holst and Cooper are going to go at it for the win. And now Holst tries to make it round the outside, coming round into Stowe. But for Mikkel Scout, absolutely heartbreaking that his engine unfortunately lets go on him just before the end. Holst is right behind. He's all over Cooper. Surely can't be too long until he makes his move. As now Gal goes over the curb and nearly flips the car. But how unfortunate that is for Mikkel Scout. He must be absolutely seething under that helmet. He must be absolutely fuming. I would be if I was in that situation. But Mikkel Scout is unfortunately out of the race. And now Waze Cooper and Holst are going to battle it for the victory with just 3 laps to go. As they now come around the infield section, the new infield section of the track, they come down onto the back straight heading towards Brooklands. But now Mikkel Scout, whose car is going to be out of the race, how unfortunate that is that it has ended this way. So he was running right behind Holst, and he was trying to overtake him, just coming into Maggots and Beckett's, and he was just going through, and just as he was right behind Holst, and then there he goes, and unfortunately his engine just blows, and that is just a very, very unfortunate way for him to go. I mean, you've got to really feel sorry for him in that situation there for Gal. Not the way he wanted to end at all. Very, very unfortunate indeed. And so Mikkel Scout unfortunately had to retire the car. Not the way he wanted to do it at all. He wanted to win this race. He really wanted to win this race, because obviously with his teammate Volker retiring for the 4th race in a row, it could be very important in the title race. But now it's going to be Cooper and Holst for the win, and I believe Cooper will lead the championship if he wins this, and I believe Holst will probably be second if he stays behind, but I imagine it probably won't stay this way. I'd be surprised if Cooper can hold off from Holst, because surely his tyres must be absolutely on the edge. I mean, there's no way it could be, there's just no way he's going to have any grip in those tyres at all. As they now come through Stowe, Cooper just holding off from Holst at the moment. We've got 3 laps to go, and Holst trying to make a move as they come into Maggots and Beckett's. Is he going to make it stick? No, he doesn't. Goes a little wide, and that's going to affect his speed coming onto the back straight, and Cooper's going to have a welcome gap, so he can hold on for at least a lap longer as he comes through Chapel and comes onto the back straight. It's just 0.4 of a second is the gap at the moment as he comes onto the back straight. Holst is going to be closing, but he's just not going to be close enough because he's got a bad run coming through Maggots and Beckett's, and he's now going to be right behind as they come onto the second to last lap. And now Cooper already defends, Holst catching up already. He's got the much fresher tyres than Cooper as he comes now, as we're about to go on to the penultimate lap of the British Grand Prix. What an ending to this race that we are having at the moment. The only thing that's unfortunately missing for this is that it's not a British driver fighting for the victory. It's a Congolese and Danish driver, but that's not important right now. As we look through the order, and Alex Southgate has got up into P3, and Will Neller's now got up into P4, so from nowhere Neller's almost on the podium, but Southgate is going to get himself a very welcome P3 if he keeps it on the road and doesn't suffer any problems. As now we look at the McLaren of Viggo Holst, who's unfortunately got a bit of a gap to Cooper, so he's not going to make it as they come into Brooklands and then into Luffield, coming through the left hand. He's already, you can see how much he's closing as he comes through the last right-hander, and now about to come onto the old pit straight before Stowe. And as he's now coming onto the straight, he's going to be right behind him. He's now got a yellow flag. And then it's Sam Thompson who's out of the race. And Sam Thompson is set to take a very welcome point or so. Unfortunately, is going to get absolutely nothing. And he was running in P8, and he was actually right behind Ricky Hussein in the Sauber as he was just coming through Brooklands. And then as he was going through Luffield, he suffered a transmission problem, which has put Thompson out of this race. How unfortunate that is for the British driver, and what an ending to this race we've had. It's very much a lot of entertainment for the fans. But for Sam Thompson, he will get absolutely no points, and now Holst is going to be right behind Kuba. And once again, as they come through Magnus and Beckers, and now Holst is going to have a much better run coming onto the back straight, and surely Holst is going to be able to complete the move now. He's got to do it now, because I mean he still has it this time on the last lap, but he will want to get it done now to make sure of it. Now Kuba's right, now Holst is right behind Kuba, and surely Holst is going to make the move stick. It's side by side. Has he made it stick now? And yes, he has. And Holst has taken the lead as we're about to go on to the final lap of the race. And what an ending we have had. And Holst, who's yet to take a win, could be set to take his first win in the offline championship. And he now comes down the front straight and is now going to start the final lap. What an ending to this race we have had. And he's now already got nearly a second gap over Kuba behind him, as he now comes through the infield section of the lap, comes through Farm and then Abbey. As he's now about to come through into the loop, as it's called, come through Village and then the loop, now through the other left-hander, Aintree, and now coming onto the back straight, coming onto the Wellington straight, as he's now heading towards Brooklands, comes down. He's already got a fairly decent gap over Kuba in second, so Southeast's going to take third. Willner is going to take a very impressive fourth on his return. Carr set to take a very good top five. Of course, Indy Willers in sixth, Parkinson in seventh, Wolf currently in eighth, and Roke, who's recovered to P9, so he's one place off the points at the moment. As now we look at Holst, who's got a good gap over Kuba in second, as he's coming through Copse for the final time, and he's set to come through Maggots and Beckett's, and then into Chapel. So he comes through Maggots, and now he starts to come through Beckett's, and as he comes through the left hand through Chapel, he now comes on to the Hangar Straight as he heads towards Stowe for the final time. He's got a 1.5 second gap over Kuba, and what a race we've had. And Viggo Holst, who took pole position, yet he's had a long race battle with Kuba and Gal, who got involved as well from the start. But Viggo Holst, on his strategy, has prevailed victorious as he comes through the final couple of corners. He comes through Vale, and now he comes through Club, and Viggo Holst comes down the front straight and is going to take his first ever offline championship win in a dramatic race here at Silverstone. Kuba comes home in second, and Wolf is in the pits, and Adam Wolf has gone into the pits, and at the moment Roke has come across the line. Well, I don't know if it's in P8 or not, so the finish line usually is a bit earlier, so we'll have to see at the end of the race where he comes. But Roda Moitian is running in P9, so he I believe was running in the point? No, he was running actually behind Roke, so he's going to finish behind. Well, it says in P9, but we'll have to see come the end of the race, as now Oliver Glazebrook's had to come home and take a very impressive P10, although these results outside of the top 10, outside of P8, are temporary. But Franco Gambru's had not a great race, in all honesty, as he comes now through the final couple of corners, as there's Adam Wolf, who just comes out of the pits behind. So what happened, so it looked like both Williams were having problems on the final lap. So let's have a look here. So Adam Wolf actually had a problem on the final lap, and unfortunately he came into the pits, and so let's have a look. I don't know what the problem was, but he was coming round and he was onto the pit straight, and the race was already over, and it's so he was running in P8, but it said it was just immediately dropped him down to P13, so there's obviously some sort of bug that has happened there. So I believe Wolf will most likely probably still keep 8th place from Roke, but we will find out at the end of the race, as now Southgate's set to come home and take a very impressive P3, so at least there is a Brit on the podium. And Will Neller on his return, a very welcome return, is going to take P4. That is the race that he would have wanted. And now Armar Carr, another Brit, set to take P5, so Brits in P3 to 5, just a shame it wasn't P1 to 3, probably would have been a bit more ideal, but anyway, Carr comes across the line, takes a very impressive 5th place. Joseph Willer's not really been his race compared to Kuba, not really had the pace. Unfortunately, that one stop that he didn't really work out very well, but he comes across the line and he will take 6th place And Ricky Harkison comes home and takes 7th. But there is your race winner, Vigor Holst, a first-time winner in the OC and a very much welcome first-time winner as well. Whew, I can take a breath now. Anyway, here are the results. So Vigor Holst wins with Wade Scuba 2nd, Alex Southgate 3rd, Will Nella 4th, Armar Carr 5th, Joseph Willis 6th, Ricky Clarkson 7th, and Adam Wolf did get P8 in the end. He did get their position back from George Roke in P9. Roland Moyton was 10th with Glazebrook 11th, Franco Cameron 12th with Sean Grind 13th, with Sam Thompson and Gal still classified despite retiring, with Felix Sontag, Ian Escu, Fitzwater, Volker, Mackenzie DeRoss, and Quag all retiring. And Felix Sontag will receive a 20-place grid penalty for that incident that he had with De Rossa for the German Grand Prix. It should be noted that Park also got a time penalty for the incident involving Will Nella and Sam Thompson, but he has stayed in 7th place because he's obviously still on the lead lap. So, woof, and you can see Cooper set the fastest lap, a 1:31.0. And wow, that was quite a race. But as I said, the Adam Wolf incident at the end, that was a pit bug. Hence why, obviously, on the graphic it went from P8 suddenly down to P13. So he gets the 8th place back from George Roke. But now here are the point standings. So Vigor Holst now takes the lead by 6 points ahead of Kuba in 2nd. Volker, who's retired from 4 races in a row, down to 3rd with Gal in 4th place. Evan Byrne in 5th. So we'll hope he returns soon in the future. We don't know if he'll be back next race or not. We'll have to wait and see. Mackenzie in 6th place. Joseph Willis in 7th. George Roke in 8th with Alex Southgate 9th with a big gap of 12 points. Sontag in 10th, being the top 10 with Carr in 11th. Falcons in 12th. DeRossa 13th. Moyton 14th. Thompson 15th. Will Nella 16th. Ionescu 17th. Wolf 18th. Gavin 19th. Quag, Glazebrook, and the 2 virgins, Fitzwater and Grant. In the constructors' standings, McLaren currently lead by 9 points ahead of Red Bull, who are themselves 9 points ahead of Ferrari, who are 10 points ahead of Lotus. Just a slight, just wish that was 9. It would have made it a lot better. And Lotus, who are comfortably, they are 27 points ahead of Mercedes, who are 13 ahead of Force India, who are just 4 ahead of Sauber. 2 ahead of Williams in 8th, Taurus and 9th with 8, Caterham 10th with 3, and Virgin the only team so far not to score any points. Whew, I could take a deep breath now because that was some race. I have to say, I hope you guys enjoyed the British Grand Prix. Don't forget to do, well, you know the drill. Vote for your drive of the day and give the race a rating out of 10. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you for the next round of the German Grand Prix at Hockenheim. So thanks for watching, and see you there.